Religion in US worth more than Google and Apple combined. Huh, that's crazy. That's just in the US. Imagine how much it would be worldwide. Faith economy worth $1.2 trillion a year, more than combined revenues of 10 biggest tech firms in America, study shows. Religion in the United States is worth $1.2 trillion a year, making it equivalent to the 15th largest national economy in the world, according to a study. The faith economy has a higher value than the combined revenues of the top 10 technology companies in the US, including Apple, Amazon, and Google, says the analysis from Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. Imagine a world where that money went towards humanitarian aid or medical research. Wouldn't that be something? Imagine a world. Imagine a world. Imagine a world. Imagine a world.
Imagine a world. Imagine a world without faith economy. Imagine a world where you could donate others' money to humanitarian aid or medical research so you don't have to feel guilty while buying another Mac or Android. Imagine a world where you read a newspaper about several billionaires and hope only one of them go bankrupt, for he is such a narcissistic capitalist, but not the one who sells you overpriced metal devices that you throw away in a year and are disposed to third world countries, poisoning their land and water, where they desperately try to search landfills to get the treasure. Imagine a world where parents could not dictate the best for their child, where government decided what is best for an 8-month-old, where the little boys had the right to die gracefully because of wishes of men in white and black, while parents watched hope slowly succumbing to death because of a legal order. Imagine a world without any arguments against your lifestyle. Imagine a world where your opponents could not disagree with you without being called bigot. Imagine a world where then you could fire them from jobs or fine them for hundreds of grants. Imagine a world where they would be forced to collect garbage. Imagine where you could prevent them from raising funds to meet the needs of their family. Imagine a world where you could choose your role and choose your gender, and would not have to suffer the incorrigible pain of being called by what you were born with. Imagine a world where you could freely spread HIV intentionally, where you could picket or protest so that you be reclassified, where the term pregnant woman is viewed as offensive. Imagine a world where atheists not compelled to kill thousands of religious people. Imagine a world where you would not have 3 million members of an organization whose aim is to take resolute action against religious peasants. Imagine a world where you would not have to remove religious symbols from their homes. Imagine a world where people didn't have jurisdiction over others' experience based on their faith, but only based on a subjective morality, where your sense of reasoning and your prescribed method of inquiry. Imagine a world where people you don't like are not born. Imagine a world where if they do get born, somehow you could donate the money they collect to scientific endeavors or for advancement of reason and logic. Imagine a world where nothing is taken on authority, except if it is related to naturalism, where the sacred doctrine of nothing to earth and dust to man, where time and chance was never under threat, where you could harass people for publishing anything you hate, where the people who publish anything you hate didn't exist. Imagine a world where Islam did not exist, where Muslims still donated 371 for yours 116 to charity, so that you would not have to. Imagine a world where you were not told that they donated 3 times more than you, that they are among the poorest. Imagine a world without a top and bottom, where you could see wind blow through a girl's breasts, where you could see the vulva between her slender legs, where you could walk with your sharp tongue, where you could masturbate on streets and have sex like dogs, where the prostitutes solicited clients in front of kids, where girls were objectified by the masses. Imagine a world where you could save gullible people from the most serious signs, where you could nip new methodologies in the bud if you didn't like them. Imagine a world where you could talk about love, wonder, awe, and morality without someone bringing a spiritual explanation. Where you looked for evidence in all places except the heart and soul. Imagine a world where you would not have to think about an explanation greater than you for all that is wonderful, where it is only the molecules and atoms and protons and quarks. Imagine a world where mainstream thought, established by years of tradition and culture, would go away because you hate being sick. Imagine a world where parents could not force you to adopt superstition by pressure, while you could mock them for being delusional and gullible.
And this prevents an honest, critical dialogue from actually happening. Imagine we could strip all of the emotion out of these arguments, all of the heritage, all of the baggage, and debate the ideas based solely on their merit. We would have won already. We would have won already. We would have won already. This normalizing of religion is the stagnation in society.
Mock them, ridicule them. In public. Don't fall for the convention that we're all too polite to talk about religion. Religion is not off the table. Religion is not off limits. Religion makes specific claims about the universe which need to be substantiated and need to be challenged and, if necessary, need to be ridiculed with contempt.
Imagine a world where people could not know what they know unless they followed your neat little self-refuting standard. Or they could not claim they know, or they were mocked if they claim they know. But they perhaps know because you don't believe they know, though you don't know whether they don't know. Imagine a world where there was no moral authority, where no one could put the actions they do on a moral figure, and may die knowing happily that they will never be punished for wrong because it was illegal in their country, or that they didn't get caught, where victims would never live in false hope that they would get justice, where morality is nothing other than grandstanding. Imagine a world where you could put Pope in jail for committing crimes against humanity when he comes to visit your country while you defend mild pedophiles. Imagine a world where you could be yourself, where you wouldn't have to worry about consequences and judgment. Imagine a world where you aren't paid, and you can say this as you eat at KFC. Imagine a world where people were not led to believe that prayers work, where you could criticize the superstitious Bronze-aged Neanderthals for wasting their time praying instead of helping people, as you waste time dissing them. Imagine a world where morals are allowed to change as society develops, where ancient texts like Constitution can no longer dictate that free speech is a right, where freedom of religion can be taken away at will, guns can be seized, where people might be put under torture if majority thinks it is okay. Imagine a world where science is more important than sanctity of human lives, where aborted fetus could then further be stripped away of his valuables and then disposed of in garbage. Imagine a world where you could act God, produce manufactured babies. Imagine a world of human hybrids, Imagine where you strangle human embryos, where they are just commodities to benefit yourself. Imagine the world where you start enslaving more than just animals, or even tiny defenseless humans, for the pain in your knee.
In a world without honor killing, where gays don't fear for their lives and where women everywhere are given equal respect and an equal voice and are treated like human beings rather than assimilating faceless into an ocean of silent black trash bags.
The Communist Party's campaign against the peasants was not just about land. It was an attempt to destroy much of traditional Russian culture and religion. Many of the early documents reveal the party's determination to eliminate the influence of the church. The man-made religion of communism could tolerate no rivals. The belief in God had to be destroyed. It was a holy war, but a war against the idea of the holy and the sacred, against the demands of conscience and a morality beyond politics.
January 19, 1918. Decree on freedom of conscience and of religious organizations. 1. There is a separation of church and state. 2. The conduct of state or other public legal social establishments will not include any religious rituals or ceremonies. 3. Religious vows and oaths are abolished. If necessary, only a solemn promise will be given. 4. No church or religious organization may have private property. They do not have the rights of legal persons. 5. All properties of churches and religious organizations in Russia are declared to be public property. Chairman of the Council of People's Commissars, Lenin.
Photographs are very vivid, very sad testimony to what the anti-religious campaigns did to Russia and the whole Soviet Union throughout the 70 years the Communist Party was in power. This is a church. It was the largest church in all of the Russian Empire, built in the 1830s to commemorate the victims of the Napoleonic invasion. It was a beautiful church a few miles down the river from the Kremlin in Moscow, and it was decorated by some of Russia's most eminent painters, including Vrubel and Vosnetsov. In 1934, when Stalin was rebuilding the city in order to put in the metro and erase traces of the imperial past, he had the church blown up. He decided to make this the site of the largest statue in the world to commemorate Lenin and the Third International. When the engineers went to build the foundations of the statue, they curiously found that the foundations kept sinking. And it turns out that, of course, this plot of land next to the river was over a tidal basin and was unable to support the weight of the world's largest statue, although it had, for 100 years, held the weight of possibly the world's largest church. Frustrated in his plan, shall we say, to build this statue, he decided to build the world's largest outdoor swimming pool. And to this day, it's a very large swimming pool in Moscow. In the wintertime, it has a microclimate over it, a fog, and it's believed that many people have lost their lives swimming in this pool in the wintertime. The Muscovites refer to this as a sign of the wrath of God.
Marxist materialism was the official ideology of the revolution. Anti-religious demonstrations were at the heart of the party's ideological struggle against the traditional faith and individualism of the Russian peasant. It was a tenet of the Orthodox faith that their saints were physically incorruptible, so the remains and relics of saints were displayed and mocked as part of the ongoing campaign to re-educate the people. It was a war against the very concept of the sacred. Yet when religious restrictions were relaxed under Khrushchev and Gorbachev, visitors to the Soviet Union would be surprised to observe the deep spirituality and abiding faith of so many of the Russian people.
Religion. Imagine the freedom. Imagine the liberty. Imagine that there is no one greater than you. Imagine that there's no one who could tell you how to live your life. Imagine and religion, it is never gonna die.